sit next to me and get me sick. So, all right. Good? Good? Jim, you're good?
Yep.
Okay. Let's call this regular meeting of the Board of Finance to order. I've got 7:03 p.m. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. I ask you to stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we do the Scottish one too. No, it's the same. All right. We had a request that came in after the agenda was published. So can I get a motion to add under the, Jim, I think it goes under additional appropriation discussion.
Additional appropriations.
I didn't have a better place to put it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve under the additional appropriation discussion request, Danielle's request to discuss the additional funding for the North Pier rehab?
So moved.
Second. Motion, Lynn. God, I can't write today. Any motion, Lynn, second, Chris. Any discussion about adding that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passed. All right, so that's on the agenda. Next item on the agenda that we have is comments from the public.
Is it on there, is there also an Alpha Ave additional appropriation that came in very, very last minute?
Okay, if it's very, very last
It's in the
minute, I
memo.
very, very much don't have access to my very, very emails.
Sorry, it came in with the memo at it was late, but if you guys could have a discussion on Alpha Ave with a possible appropriation.
So that's
Don't worry, it's not millions, it's
It came in on what number?
the memo.
So hang on. So the request, Jim, do you have that request?
How would you word it, Jim?
I don't.
Yeah, we don't have it.
In the memo I sent, there was the North Pier, and then the second thing was Alpha Ave.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read that far down. And I didn't send it, I just. printed it
That's
out.
my fault too, because I didn't read that far, because I knew the North Pier was
It's all happening
coming.
real time,
Okay.
so
Thank you.
This would be interesting.
hopefully helpful, maybe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Sorry. We got this at like 3:45 today.
Okay, that's why I didn't see
Yeah,
it. Okay.
sorry.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve, to add to the agenda, discussion of the Alpha Ave Bridge?
So moved.
Motion, Mike,
Second.
second, Deb. Any discussion?
Not yet.
Just on adding the agenda item, that's all we're doing here. All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving that addition to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. Okay, next item on the agenda is, unless you're not done yet, birthday girl plus a day. Are there any comments from the public? Any comments from the public? Any comments from the public? Hearing none. First item on the agenda is bid waiver request. Can I get a motion to approve the bid waiver request from the IT manager, purchase switches from Step CG LLC for $20,317?
So moved.
Motion, Chris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Lynn. Discussion, questions, Roger?
If you recall, 2 months ago, we came to the board, asked for a couple of transfers so we could make a purchase of 2 network switches from Step CG. Those are to replace 2 of our 4 existing core network switches. This is a new fiscal year, and through capital funds we already have, we're going to purchase the other 2, hopefully pretty soon. With the plan on swapping them out sometime in the fall.
Questions from board members? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. Thanks, Roger.
Thank you all.
I'll be talking to you.
You know where I am.
I know where you are. All right, next, can I get a motion to approve a bid waiver request from DPW for their annual on-call services from 12 vendors per the attached listing?
So moved.
Second.
That was Dave, right?
Yes.
Okay. And motion Dave, second Mike. All right, Jeff, do you want to?
Yeah, thanks. Good evening. It's actually 6 vendors, and there's a narrative on the second page with a little bit for each vendor. The vendors are really the same that we've had over the previous years outside of the paving. The VIP, the state's VIP for the paving is our local American Industries, came in $5 a ton cheaper than the second low bidder, so that will amount to quite a bit of savings. They're going to be new to staff utilizing them as our company this year, but we're going to keep an eye on. And with that would be the milling company as well. The other vendors, again, have been working for the town for the past few years, again, come off of the state bid lists. The first one, though, the catch basin cleaning Shaw Vac, we've utilized them for over the last few years as well. They are not the low bidder. The low bidder cannot commit to the town of Stonington with our schedule, and I don't believe he can provide the services that Shaw provides us year after year.
Just out of curiosity, how much of a differential was there?
For the catch basin cleaning,
Yeah.
I think it's $3.50 per structure. And they do a good job, I think, for the most part. Our staff is very pleased. Coordination, any problems with the structures, they let our staff know. We go out and inspect them and do the rebuilds as needed.
So for the rest of them, how do you know that if you've been using them for years, state bid list or otherwise, that there isn't somebody cheaper in there?
Well, at the state bid list, it will show you the different vendors who are bidding, and it gives by unit price or price per unit. Like line striping, it'll have yellow, and it has a lot of different vendors for this area.
Shaw Vac was second,
Yeah, Shaw Vac was second on the catch basin.
Right.
Yes,
And
but
most
the,
vendors who do this would put themselves on that bid list?
yeah, if they're interested in doing the work, and then, they get pretty busy. The other ones have been very good to the town.
Yeah.
Atlas Fencing, fantastic. Yeah, good question.
Has anything gone up substantially? I'm sure there's been inflation with probably all these, but anything noteworthy in particular?
No, it's surprising. I would have thought that the asphalt prices would have been a lot higher, but they're pretty reasonable. Yeah.
How much was American different than?
$5 a ton.
Oh, geez.
So we're putting down, for us, I think we're doing Lantern Hill, North Stonington Road. With that $5 a ton, I can't remember how many tons, but it's about $30,000
Yeah, I was gonna say.
between bidder 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
Other questions from board members? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the bid waiver request as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is I have a bid waiver request for DPW for a newer used mechanics truck. And I think it makes sense before I make a motion on this to have a discussion. So why don't we start off with a discussion on that?
Yes, and thank you. That's really what we're here for tonight. Mr. Chair, that's our 5-year. These are just some pictures. Get started. Can you pass this on?
Visuals.
So with me tonight, again, we have, again, Tom Curioso, the Deputy Director, Nate Michelli is our Highway Supervisor, and Mike Barbeau is one of our mechanics doing the work on our vehicles. Last year, in preparation of our fiscal year and our CIP, we did identify the need for a fleet mechanics vehicle. And during our deliberations and discussions, it was not the priority, and that was our choice. We decided with a plow truck, which is more of a necessity. We went back to the yard, we looked at the current conditions of our fleet mechanics vehicle, which basically was an old pickup truck, and with the talents of our staff, they kind of put together a vehicle that worked as a fleet vehicle for us to go on and do road trips and things of that nature. In doing so, they found there was a little bit more damage in the cab area, a lot of rust. They did send it out, they're in here as a report from a collision repair company, basically saying, guys, this vehicle should not be on the road. We looked at it, and with our staff.
Can I interrupt you for
Yes,
1
you
second? And I don't mean to interrupt you, Jeff.
No, you're fine.
People have asked me a question of whether the truck was, because you went to a collision repair place for the evaluation, it was not an accident, correct?
No, it was not an accident.
So they're just evaluating as a repair job, not as a collision job?
Correct.
That was a question that was asked of me, so I just
No,
wanted to make sure.
perfectly fair
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, part of the reason why, Michael Barbo, part of the reason why we brought it to the collision repair facility, we noticed that one side of the frame seemed to be lower than the other side of the frame when looking at the front of the vehicle. We took it to them and they did concur that the frame is bent.
Makes total sense why you brought it.
Yeah, that's the main reason.
I just wanted to make sure we were clear that
the
it was evaluation of the vehicle as is and not a evaluation of the vehicle after an incident.
Correct, and there also is heavy corrosion on the cab, specifically in the cab mount area. Some of those pictures were in there. We were looking into possibly replacing the cab on it, but seeing the totality of the vehicle with the frame bend, it's no longer feasible to do that, so.
How do we bend the frame?
I would say between years of plowing with the vehicle, it's been a mainline plow vehicle on the road, and the state of the corrosion on the frame, I think, has weakened it over the years. It is an older vehicle now. It is a 2012.
High mileage.
Yes, it has 142,000. So.
I have a question. All the plows and everything, do you wash them off after you go out, get all the salt off and everything?
And we wash and we treat the undercarriages for salt corrosion.
Yeah, we use a product similar to fluid film on the frames and undercarriage of the vehicles to try to prolong it as long as we can, because obviously corrosion is our enemy in our industry.
So again, and we're here for discussion purposes. So when we, as our team got together, we looked at our options. And again, would it be on our next year's CIP? Yes, it will. And if you look at the chart, you'll see what our ask would be as of today for next year's CIP for vehicles.
So this truck it's almost 200 grand because it's fitted out with a plow?
Well, it's a plow package, but it also has certain apparatus on it that allows us to do road jobs. So there's a crane that we would have on the vehicle, the utility body. I'm not sure if it's going to be fitted with a welder.
Yes, we have a welder that's on our truck currently,
Yeah.
that we use for mobile welding repairs, and we also use it for the generator capabilities for running down to the Pawcatuck dikes. That will be moved over to the new truck,
Okay.
or whatever replacement we come up with.
Do we have a crane on the current vehicle?
We do have a small crane.
Small.
Probably just a small one off the back, but
Yes, yeah, it was one of the
yeah.
small ones you get like on an Amazon type deal.
Yeah.
So it's that extra stuff that's pushing that price
Yes.
up to something?
And I think the body is the steel.
Correct. The body is aluminum on the newer vehicle, so that way it helps with the corrosion issues, and the crane is substantially larger as well.
And tell them about, the option is you could essentially reuse this body on a new chassis.
Correct.
So down the road, you wouldn't be buying the whole thing, you'd just be buying a truck
A new chassis to put
which would
the
probably
body
be
on.
half the price, I would think.
Hopefully it's aluminum and won't rust out.
Right, that's the goal.
Right.
Is it aluminum or stainless?
Aluminum.
Okay.
Wait.
Because, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, we changed to stainless on.
We did.
On the big trucks.
750 and went to a stainless body.
Yeah.
So far, everybody loves the truck, but we haven't run it through snow yet. But
Right,
I think it's going to be fine. DOT's been using them for a while, and they haven't had any issues, so.
But Jeff, you think the aluminum will perform equivalently?
So,
Oh, yeah.
as far as the service bodies go, on the utility body side,
Yeah.
they don't offer a lot in the way of stainless,
Okay.
just because of the weight and how much extra it weighs. It
Well, that
cuts
was going
back
to
on
be
your
my next
tooling
question,
capacity.
because when we did it on the big truck, you've got a big chassis and a big load bearing capacity.
Right.
So if we did stainless, it's gonna obviously weigh a heck of a lot more than aluminum. So, okay.
So, what are you asking for?
So, we threw some options out because we know there's a lot of requests out there for additional funding. And we did have some options. So there's the new vehicles. There's also, we looked at used vehicles, which here today, gone tomorrow. And there's a couple of examples in there for $80,000. We would have to go and actually visual do an inspection of those vehicles, make sure some of them don't come with warranties. That's another option. Our last resort is, I think we are looking at possibly retrofitting a trailer to get us through this winter. Hopefully we won't have a bad winter, and that would get us through the winter until our request comes up next fiscal year in the CIP.
Obviously, if, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, if you were to pick, it'd be a new vehicle that is the easiest thing. But I'm gonna ask you, what is your preferred route? I mean, I see all the options that we got. What, knowing where the town is and what we've got to balance, what would you come up with?
There was, I think we did talk about it, there was one vehicle there was used, again, here today, gone tomorrow.
Right.
I think it was $89,000, that was a Dodge.
Yeah, there was a Dodge and there was a Ford.
That would fit our needs, and we would get quite a few years of service out of that. Again, we don't know what this winter is going to bring. A plow truck goes down during a heavy snowstorm, we're shutting it down, we're calling a tow truck, and we're going to have it towed in, a route down, so that will have an impact on what we do.
Because this would be the truck that would run around.
Exactly, yes, exactly. With that crane hoist, we can pick the plows up, we can put extra change. If we could, we drive it back to the shop. We can cut blades off of it if we have to get it back to the shop. Here, we're at the mercy of the tow companies.
And we're doing a lot more branching out. Like, they do a ton of work with the landfill now, which has saved a ton of money for sending stuff out to be repaired.
Is the mileage correct that you guys have on that vehicle? It says 130 miles.
Well, yeah, 149 or so. Yes, it's an old pickup truck that.
No, you're saying the new one?
Oh, the new one?
And the used
Oh, the new used
So,
one, yes, those are
part
high
of the used
mileage.
one is, they are
Yeah.
all higher mileage
Yes.
just because.
But it only says
No,
130.
I saw that.
130,000.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I gotta thought I'd get this one.
130, I was like, at 130 miles.
Yeah. All right.
I'm up tonight.
Missing the cat, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they fished it out of the Grand Canyon. So, have you got any, like, creative ways to help pay for a new one? And how long would it take you to get it, by the way? Like, when would you actually need the money if we got a new one?
I think the new ones are.
So the new ones are on the lot at our state approved vendor that we've used in the past to purchase vehicles.
That 350 is, but what about all the stuff?
It's all built.
It's all built.
They
It's
have,
a common thing.
somewhat, there's only select dealers that will actually stock it just because of how expensive they are. Ford does offer a municipal lease program. They can do whatever payments for however long you want with a $1 buyout at the end. Interest rates are somewhere around 6%, so they do charge you to borrow their money, but that's directly to Ford.
Well, yeah, we're not in that business anymore.
Yeah, so if you went to the new route, I mean, the 143,999, that's got everything you need? You're not having to.
Yeah, so that one is the second option for new ones. That one's a 450 versus the 600. It's a slightly lower capacity.
Okay.
And it is a steel body instead of the aluminum body. That's where you get the savings, and the crane is electric versus hydraulic. It will suit the bill. It might not last as long as the aluminum.
But we're replacing a 350?
Yeah, 350 pickup truck.
When you say 450, it's bigger.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the number one new option is a 600.
that's 600. Yes. They're basically the same physical size, just heavier duty components.
For the 600 or the 450, would you put a plow on it? The pictures in it don't have a plow.
Yes,
but-
that's something that would have the capabilities of plowing.
Okay.
Is the plow that's on this one in decent shape? Can we use it? So we can reuse that thing on it?
Yes.
Do we,
So is there anything that we gave you that you could postpone to defray some of the cost
We've
here?
already placed the order for our Class 8.
Yes.
The what?
Our Class 8, we were approved for it, so I think our money that was approved is already spent. We talked about that.
Class A is a dump truck?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
large
sorry,
trucks.
The big,
Sorry, yes,
And the tractor is already here.
yeah.
Okay.
The next one, additional appropriation discussion request, I was gonna float an idea to fund that.
Okay, good, because I have one too.
Great.
So maybe it's the same.
You wanna
Well,
skip over that and come back to it, or?
Well, we need a motion for this thing anyway now, right?
well, I don't have any motion on the table
Right, I
right now.
know. So we need one.
So, I guess the question is, Jim, do we want to do a motion on this now and have the discussion about your funding?
Well, before we talk about funding, I think you guys should have to make a decision of how much you wanna spend on this, whether you go the used route, the new route, and how much we're looking to,
Okay.
we need to identify.
And this is right now just a discussion point, it is not a motion to commit to that, but I'm just trying to get a sense from everyone.
I get him a new one.
I get a new one.
You get a new one, you would get a new one. Let me have you clarify of the two different new ones, which one would you prioritize?
The better one.
The aluminum?
Yeah, the
The
one that,
aluminum,
How about the lower cost, if it meets the
Okay.
need?
the lower cost?
I mean, I'd like to hear a little bit more about the 450 versus the 600, I guess. I mean, considering you're using a 350 right now, is that right? I mean, so a new 450 is an upgrade relative to what you have right now in terms of capacity and capability, so.
The 450s with aluminum?
No, the 450
That's-
is not with
That's the
aluminum.
thing.
The 450 is a steel body.
Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, not knowing, obviously not my area of expertise, but, I mean, what would one, if a salesman was trying to pitch us on one versus the other here, what would they say, or is all the benefits associated with going with the aluminum versus the steel, or?
Components too.
Yeah.
Don't know about the cranes.
So the difference between the two that they have on the lot, one obviously steel, aluminum. You have your aluminum is more corrosion resistant over time versus the steel. The cranes are also different. The aluminum body in the F600 that's there has a hydraulic crane with a hydraulic air compressor on it, PTO driven off the engine. The crane on the F450 is electric over hydraulic, so it uses battery power from the truck. And it is a lower capacity crane than the one that's on the bigger one. So
How often do you use the crane now?
Now, we use it quite a bit on the smaller stuff because we can only pick up so much with it. We put the jacks and the tires and everything in the back of the truck for snow road calls, and we have flats in the middle of the night. We would use it more instead of having to send the payloader out to pick up plows. If we have a breakdown, we need to pick up a plow that broke and put it in the back of the truck, we can do that. Things of that nature. There's been times where we replaced a cab on a loader where it would have been useful to have the crane because we don't have to work inside the building. So everything like that has to be done outside. So we would use the truck for taller items outside our shop facility now.
That was gonna be my question, is can you give us a rough idea, and rough, I'm not, getting you to the pound or the kilo or whatever, of the load capacity of comparison of the two, are they like, 10% different, and then also the boom length for said load capacity?
Yeah, so the low capacity, I believe, is a 5,300 pound crane on the electric over hydraulic, which is the 450. The F600, I believe, is a 8,000 pound crane, and I believe it's a 20-foot reach on the 8,000 pound crane. And I believe the other one is a 16-foot reach on the 5,000.
What do we have that's 8,000 pounds we have to lift?
What's that?
What do we have that's 8,000 pounds we have to lift?
So your capacity goes down the farther out you reach. So that's 8,000 pounds.
It's right smack up.
Yeah, so, but when you reach out that 20 feet, you're gonna be significantly reduced. I don't have the calculations
Right,
for
but
that.
that way, yeah, I understand the math there, but so when you're dealing with a plow or something else, you're
Correct.
not smack up against
If
it.
it's off the edge of the road, you need to pull it back up on, or the lift something off the edge of the road.
So, we pay you guys a salary to deal with these types of things. As far as I'm concerned, you are the experts. And we can ask you all kinds of questions about this, that, and the other. As far as I'm concerned, if you should get the one that you think is the best deal for the town. And it certainly seems like you're leaning toward the new one. And, I mean, I could ask questions all night about this, that, and the other, but I would trust your judgment in what should be done. So that's just my opinion.
What's the difference between what you have now? Would it be a downgrade from what you have now to go to the 450?
No, it'll still be an upgrade. What we have now is a retired pickup truck that used to be the foreman's pickup truck that we held on to at one point from being traded in because we didn't have.
We're talking about like steel body and hydraulic crane, what kind of crane?
So right now we have a very small electric crane that's got I believe it's 1,100 pound capacity.
Yeah, both of the new vehicles that you're proposing are a significant upgrade from what you
Correct.
have currently.
Yes.
Okay.
Further questions?
So, in terms of like next year's SIP, if we get you a brand spanking new plow and magic truck that goes around, is there something that we wouldn't have to do in the SIP that we could get away with a little delay, or is something else coming up? You know, we're always talking about plows and plowing routes and whatnot. Was there something else on the horizon that we could defer?
We would look at our plow trucks again. Currently, it's in there as another Class 8 vehicle, I believe. And again, we want to get through one more winter with a Class 7. There was quite a bit of savings on those. There's still a need for us for Class 7, but we wanted to get through one winter first. But staying on that practice of replacing our plow trucks, we could swap one out for a 7 again. The state's been using them for years. Other municipalities have had a lot of success. I think right now our staff, it's brand new. We just got it in, driving around town. They're enjoying it, but we could do that. And if we had to, we would take something else off of our request list.
What would we save if we went from a 4 to a 7?
It's about 50 to 70 depending on options and depending on the current market.
Okay, so if we can figure out how to finance this, would you pledge to do that?
I don't want to speak for Jeff, but I think the idea was also, okay, say we're coming, say you're going to allow us, I think this past year was around 400,000 for CIP. This would be subtracted out of that. You know what I mean? So we'd be.
Oh, because it was on there anyway, so.
Exactly.
It was,
exactly.
Yeah, but if you, okay, but you could actually lose more if you went from a 4 to a 7.
So we would be this 109, or whatever, if we go with the big one, 194,000 less than what?
Right. It's fine.
Everybody
Well,
else
something else will happen.
Yeah.
Correct.
So was it, you said the differential on the plow, maybe 50, 60, 70, you know?
The 7's in there
For the-
versus the 8.
Yeah,
Class
the
8s.
7 versus the 8. So which, you know, rough numbers here, it's about a $50,000 differential between the 450 and the 600, you know, on the new option. So again, you guys are the experts. Is that, would you do that trade-off? Would you say, yeah, give us the 600 now and we'll take the Class 7 plow? Or would you say, no, I'd rather have the 450 truck and the Class 8 plow?
The Class 8, just so everyone's aware before we get to SIP, I think Mike gave a price in there about 300, right? 315. So
They're up to $315,000 now?
315.
Yes.
Oh, but there's no inflation.
A few years ago, we were on 200, 215. So it's a substantial upcharge to get to the Class
The
8.
biggest concern we have going to the smaller one is this going to be suitable for big snow events? And we haven't had a chance to try this one out in a big event to see, okay, it's going to fit the bill, we're going to be okay.
The trend over the last 5 years is no big events.
Yeah.
Right.
You said the state's going in that direction, right?
They have a mix. They're still replacing their big ones, they've added some small ones in.
Well, they gotta know how they work because they do get more snow up north.
Yeah.
So,
But maybe back to my question, I mean, which
Well,
trade-off,
you-
which way would you guys go?
I think it would also depend on
I would go, so I don't want to speak for anybody because I'm not trying to speak out of place because I'm just a humble mechanic. But in my own opinion, I would say that would be a fair trade-off. The going with the 600 and then dropping back to a class 7.
That price could go up over the 315, just to be completely transparent and honest.
Yeah, with tariffs.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what's gonna happen. We could be at 350 by the time we roll around, you know.
A lot of the steel for those manufacturers is imported, so.
And we don't know what's gonna be allowed for CIP this coming year, you know, we don't know what that figure is. We may be saying, okay, hold off on that big truck, we may see some of these smaller items as more a priority.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know that.
Right, yeah.
But could we get away with those small ones? Yes.
Yeah, so all else being
Do I
equal,
wanna sit
yeah.
here and say we wanna switch the whole fleet out to small ones? No.
Yeah, but for the next purchase, all else
Yes,
being equal.
yes,
Right.
yep.
It sounds like you guys would be willing to make that choice.
Yep.
Well, I'll use this opportunity to make a note, you know, budget season's not that far off. So you can start thinking about it now, get a plan.
Fast, it's coming up.
Not all of us are gonna be here either. So. Someone take notes.
All right, so can I get a sense of the board of what vehicle you would encourage us to look at? And then as we get to the agenda item for the additional appropriation, where we look at the funding, then I'll make a motion to, then we'll see if we make a motion to do that. But first, I'd like to get a sense of where people are at. The sense I've got so far is a new vehicle to replace this one. The question is the 600 versus the 450.
Yeah, I personally, I would leave it up to them which one. If they say, we'd like to have this one, and these are the reasons why, and they kind of had said that,
They've said the
fine,
600.
fine, but
So
if they're
you're-
okay with a less expensive one and the smaller one, if they're okay with that, that's fine too.
But they,
Yeah, I mean, it's-
they've said they prefer the
What you also-
600.
What you also lose out on is you're not able, I know it's a long ways away, 15 years from now, you lose out on saving, say, over $100,000,
Yeah,
using
right.
that same body on a new chassis. Which, who knows what it'll be when we
They've
get
said
there.
the 600 they would prefer, so is that what you're saying, David?
Yeah.
Chris,
I'm still at the 450.
you're at the 450, Mike?
600, but they've gotta do the class 7 plow next fiscal.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Deb?
Yes.
Yes, what? The 600?
Aluminum and 600 in class 7.
And I'm the 600 as well. So
I'll be
the
watching.
sense of the board is the new 600. And now, we'll get to the next,
We'll get to the hard
later
part
agenda-
next.
The hard part of where does the money come from to do that? Okay. All right, next, can I get a motion to approve the bid waiver request from Board of Ed Facilities Director for the purchase of portables from Mobile Modular for $534,010?
So moved.
Second.
Was that you, Chris?
Second, yep.
For the second, yeah. Okay, motion Lynn, second Chris. You were so fast I couldn't tell who.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. All right, motion Lynn, second Chris. Steve?
Okay, so I've been through when I first came to the Board of Finance, and I think it was early March, we talked about moving forward with portables. You guys had suggested that maybe the school try to find a way to move forward so we could address it in the budget at that point. So I used the Sourcewell contract as a source of bid reference, which is, I think, Minnesota State. It's a government entity, but it's based out of Minnesota. So it is a contract that the school has used in the past to buy supplies for computers. That's the most common use for it. But the portables are on there. And I went through the dark web of portables and looked at all the different options and there's not two the same. I've never seen anything so confusing in all my life. So basically in the price structure, I basically identified the structure, the term of life we wanted out of the structure, and the quality of the structure. We don't want a Cadillac, we want something that's going to last 10 years. At that point, I had it repriced based on the variant of what we would need in Stonington. And only 2 were in the plan, and that was Aries and there was Mobile Modular. Mobile Modular came as a recommendation from Colliers. It's somebody they've used at other schools. They're based out of Connecticut. I went and looked at their parking lot of Mobile Modular portables that they have. I drove to Westport, I think, and looked at an Aries version. The structures are pretty similar. Initially there was a variant between Mobile Modular and Aries where Mobile Modular was the more expensive option, but once the playing cards were aligned and the hands were made the same, they actually ended up coming in less expensive on the overall. The submittal is $534,000, I believe. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I'll bring it up now so that not make it any more complicated because this has been complicated enough. So the only thing being going through different school systems and calling on about portables and the use of portables, the VCT tiles that they stick to the plywood floor, when the custodians strip them, plywood is not a good retention for VCT. So I have included an LVT option, which is a non-strip floor. It adds $9,500 to the cost, removing the VCT from the factory. So the portable come without any kind of flooring in it. It's added when it gets on site. So I'm actually at $543,510. I have a new quote here. Jim, am I allowed to hand out new quotes at a meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're at 570.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one actually had the foundation in there. I'm not using the foundation for Mobile Modular. They are not.
Thanks, Steve.
We don't share.
Sorry, I didn't. So actually, I removed the foundation from it because P&H is also, P&H has already been hired to do the foundation work, and they're also going to grade the site. So they were only, and that was a wing it number because they're obviously bidding without even seeing the site. And if you look at Aries quote, it's actually, they're only put in a 2-foot footing, which won't make code here in the north. That's a southern thing. These companies are based all over the states. So the total, that's the total comparison. You can go through it if you got questions.
Yeah, one question I do, sorry. So yeah, I'm looking at, comparing the 2 quotes. One thing that did jump out at me was HVAC. Yeah, so one's doing it for $3,000 and the other was proposing, the one you want to go with is, $17,000.
So, yeah, right, so actually, that's actually 3-phase power. So I talked about that when if we were going to purchase, I would order it with the 3-phase, same power as the SCO. So it's not HVAC, it's actually 3-phase HVAC units. It's the units converted to 3-phase. And the other one was in the 30,000 range.
But why is the other bidder only at $3,000 for 3-phase HVAC?
I think it's only, there's two lines to it. There's the panels, and then there should be see how the panel is?
Yeah,
separated.
that part of it
Okay, all right.
confused.
I can't see
Yeah,
it.
right here, I see what you're saying.
Right, so panel, yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
you can see the total sale, that's per unit, 18,000. So they're coming in roughly about the same price.
Okay, so they got on 2 lines here.
Yeah, and it is murky, it gets really murky. It's taken a lot. I don't think I've got a dry piece of ink in my office with all the printouts I've done.
Okay.
And at this point, this company is 6 to 8 weeks from notification of acceptance. I can't move forward, and if you look in that quote, there's a set of structural drawings for the footings. I need them drawings to supply to the engineer so you can put them on a print, and I can go get my waiver from planning and zoning, and then I can move forward with the project. I'm expecting installation by November.
I'm down.
I know you're dealing with a whole lot of things.
Right.
I don't understand why the three-phase HVAC from one is $3,000.
It's not, if you look at the total,
Yeah, it's,
You have to add the
you have
panel
to add
and the
them
HVAC.
up, you have to add them up, so if you look.
So they just are doing it in a way that they're,
They're all
Yeah.
different, so
They're-
if you zoom in on that, it's a single line item because it's
Yeah.
actually multiple units.
right,
And then if you
Well-
look at the total cost, it's
This is
18,000.
4 units here on this one, on the,
Yeah, there's two lines, one for the panels and one for the HVAC
so
units.
Aries has 4 units that
Yes.
they've quoted out, but the one from Mobile
just
Modular
made it
just
one
lists
total
everything
price.
one.
Yeah, one price.
But would it be 4 units in theory? I mean,
It's in all four, it's four, same
Four
four
same,
heating
yeah.
units, same 4 panels. There's an electric panel in each unit.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like on both of these quotes, you have to add.
Yeah,
Like the
oh,
panel
trust
plus
You
me,
gotta add the
it's
HVAC
really a
and the
dark web
three-phase
because this, you guys are getting a summarized version of this.
Yeah.
It's been, and nobody quotes it the same, nobody has the same. One person adds this to the sidewalk, include the metal railings, including the stairs. One's got the footings included, I made a different,
So we have 3-phase in all my buildings.
we have three-phase in every
Right.
building.
But here's where I want to make sure I've got a confirmation from you. The panel, we got to feed off that more than just the HVAC. So you're confident that both of these,
So,
the panel, if you will, whatever that cost is going to be able to distribute with all the tablets, iPads,
so
everything,
right now,
computers.
I paid $1,400 to have, I didn't hire an engineer, I used Warner Electric in their commercial electrician. They came and looked at our electrical supply, looked at our bill demand. They looked at our capacity of breakers in our current distribution panel.
Yeah,
And say that our system is currently capable of supporting a portable. Then we sent to Mobile Modular and Aries. So there is a panel requirement, but there's actual true load. So not every classroom, that's a
Right.
150 amp panel in every classroom, but not every classroom draws 100. So you got a calculated load. So they said the calculated load, I sent that to the electrician. He said, this is the size of wire you need to complete this task, you're good.
okay.
Okay?
So
I did that on
you're confident that
Yes.
with the 2 different prices and the 2 different panels, and the 2 different prices with the 2 different HVACs, at the end of the day, we're gonna be able to supply
Yeah,
teachers with what they need, no matter which one we go with.
so they're both the same. This
I've
is-
never seen a $2,500 three-phase panel.
No, it's, you're not looking, can I zoom in on it?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. That's the areas.
Oh, so
Yeah, yeah.
zoom in on that.
No.
So it's not, it's 2,500 just for the 4 panels to be upgraded, and then it's not in this one.
Okay,
And then it's another 18,000, you upgrade the HVAC units to make sure they can run on 3-phase.
okay.
So it's the same,
So
it's apples to apples.
It's this, right?
Yeah, so if you look at
It's 2
the,
optional ads.
Yeah,
I've got it in the paper version.
It's okay, we can see it.
Well,
yeah, no,
So
No, I
he's
got it
can.
down. I'm with it, but I just, the option from the Mobile Modular, from what you just gave us, is 2,500 for the,
Yeah.
they put it as a line of 1.
Yeah, so that would be the panels.
But that's
That's all of
Chris
them.
said it well, that's the upcharge.
That's an upcharge of 2,500 to up,
So up all the 4 panels.
yes, to
So-
3-phase.
Yeah,
And then it's 17,000 to update the
for the
HV.
HVAC.
Yep,
So when you do that versus these, they
It's the same.
They
It's the
look
same.
pretty dang similar.
Exactly the same,
I got a question.
yes.
Yep.
So if you look at this new thing that you gave us, and you
Yes.
look at what's in here for Aries versus this, it's like a $60,000 difference with all the add-ons.
You are bang
But you
on.
took, what did you take out of here? You took out the,
The foundations,
yeah, which I
29,000.
don't, yeah, right, don't you need a foundation?
You've already approved P&H to install the foundations. That was a previous
But
bid.
would that one work on Aries too? 'Cause that
Yes,
appears a
yeah,
panel.
and Aries should
Wouldn't
be
you have to
removed.
take,
I
wouldn't you
should
have to
have
take that out?
I did remove it from Aries.
Oh, you did take it out?
Yeah, it should
Okay,
be,
so
it should be gone.
I saw something for piers.
There is, there,
What's a pier?
huh?
What are the piers?
So it was piers
it says below grade, it's $40,000.
So
Isn't
yeah,
that
but
a
it's not
foundation?
counted in the
It's
total,
optional.
it's an option, so here.
But it's part of this, and when I add this to that,
Yeah,
that's the
but-
$60,000
But
difference.
that's not the option we're taking.
No, I'm just,
Yeah.
that fits into my second question. Is one of these better for longer than 10 years?
The
Don't think.
$621,000 one that we started out with is better for 10 years. This is
No, it's
the,
better for more than 10 years,
Yes.
potentially.
yes.
So it's the $621,000, what we started out with, that was Aries.
Yeah, no, that was mobile modular.
That was mobile
That
modular.
was $1 million project. Right now, we're at an $876,000 project
Okay.
complete.
But what's the lifespan of the,
They're both
More
saying
expensive?
10 years, and I asked mobile modular, so I asked that question, I says, what is the difference? Why, obviously, I'm getting a less expensive building, why is the building so less expensive? Why have we went from 621,000 down to 543,000? Just, I mean, what is it made of, you know? And his honest answer is they order their buildings assuming they're going to disassemble them, put them on a truck, and ship them from, their buildings ordered to be moved. It's a temporary leased building, or, you know, so they overbuild them just for yeah, whereas this is, I've got a half-inch plywood roof, so yeah, it's not, but it's never gonna be taken down and moved. Not in its life at the school, you know, so this is more practical for 10, 12 years, 15 years, whatever. I don't want to guarantee a time to you, I can't do
no,
that.
I know.
Your estimate based on
10
current ideas.
10 years,
Are-
10 years, I'll be here for about 6, maybe 15 years, I'm joking.
Well, I'm just trying to ascertain whether or not the 60 grand bought us 10 extra years.
No, I don't, I
So-
wouldn't say that, no, and, I mean, portables last forever, because they both get the same, so this is where we're at, they've both got the same steel frame, and there's 2 different frames that come with portables. This has got the better frame, which is a side-supported frame, so it's not just trussed on the bottom, and then the wood's hanging over so the portables break their back. It's actually a fully supporting frame, the metal frame extends right to the edges. I did do that.
That's mobile modular, or that's?
Both, I ordered, they're both apples to apples, so I went with a better frame.
Okay,
You know, so, because, I mean, you can replace wooden studs, but once your frame's gone,
yeah, it's gone. So the Aries is on
Yeah,
the
right,
state bid
yeah.
list? And this isn't, but this is cheaper.
no, nobody's on the state.
Nobody's on the state bid.
No, we're using, the Sourcewell contract. And Aries was on a different contract, but they were the closest one, but Sourcewell is the going bid rate, and that's what that price is priced to Sourcewell. So where we're at right now is if you approve the 543,000, that would get me to the point where I've got plans, and I don't have the VCT flooring. That was the $9,500 option. And then, going forward at that point, that would take us in somewhere close to, I think we were running around 960 on my first estimated cost from Mobile Modular. That would bring us in with roughly about 876 total for the project. That's where I'm at right now, so.
That's including the work?
That's including everything. That's everything. That's nuts to bolts.
That's just for the classrooms being delivered and installed.
Do you make it sound so simple? It's not that easy. Yes. That
But
is.
in its essence, but it's not anything interior. It's not.
Well, that's running the power from the school.
Right, but it's
and-
not.
We're not fixing the library.
No.
It doesn't include desks. It doesn't include
No,
chairs.
we're using, so
Yeah,
so let me go back there. It includes 25,000 for electronics inside.
Okay.
And it includes the fire alarm, it includes,
Okay, that's what I was.
yeah, it's all included. I mean, when I open the door, it's
There
ready.
you go.
And there's enough furniture at 204 that I don't have to buy furniture,
Okay.
so.
So what I'm hearing is, what is on our agenda is 534,010.
Yes.
What you just gave us was 543,510.
Yes.
So you're looking for the 543,510.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask Chris and Lynn to withdraw your motion and your second.
I move to withdraw the motion.
I withdraw my second.
Now, can I get a motion to approve 543, 510 from the facilities director for the purchase of portables?
So moved.
Second.
Well,
Sorry.
That's fine. That's the second.
There's no badge.
Sorry, it just came out.
543,
That's a bill
10.
I know. I'm fighting it out.
All right, further discussion, further questions from members?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Somewhere along the line here, I've lost part of this. 543,000, whatever. And then it's like 800 and some. What's making up that?
So, that's a good question, Dave. So, we've got 59,000 to run power from the school to the portables. We have approximately 8,000. That's site grading, and that would be the piers. It's almost 50 piers to hold this thing in place. There is 25,000 for the fire alarm company to come in and put fire alarms and everything in it. And then also there's about 25,000 for doing data networking, smart boards in the classrooms, all the stuff
So
that.
it's almost costing as much to do all that as it is to buy these things.
We're buying them.
We're buying them. Yeah,
They are buying them.
yeah, I mean, that's what I said. It's
Yeah,
costing us almost as much. with
well, it's not
the other
quite, but
stuff
it's up there,
as-
yeah.
as it is
I mean, I do
with
it.
purchase itself.
In that price too, I do have a $50,000 contingency. So, and there's also 40,000 in there for Colliers to manage the project. So I'm almost like, I would say I'm at the 40% mark on the project, standing in front of you now. Like, I've got all the basics done. I'm just ready to skip to planning and zoning, and then it's ordered and put the footings in. Do I need some help at this point? A little bit. So I called Colliers, and they still wanted 40,000. At this point, with the same 40,000 they want, and I said no. So I'm interviewing another guy tomorrow who might do like a couple hours here and there and just help manage a project. So do I see a savings in that 40,000? Yes.
So when you talk about the 876, you're pretty good grip on what the electrician's gonna run us or?
Yeah, it's paid. You've already approved the electrician. That
Yeah,
was one.
but you know that's,
Yeah,
Installed.
yeah, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I'm not, there's no,
okay.
I tell you when I'm not comfortable, I know when I'm not.
You're very good about that.
Yeah, I do.
So if we, oh, sorry.
No, I was just wondering when the planning and zoning meeting is next. How soon out is that?
Let's stay focused on what
Sorry.
we control, which is.
I know, I just.
No, like, this is more, can we
No.
see this?
I want to get it done.
Well, then you might not have my question, because it was about timing. If we green light it tonight, I know there's emergency here, are you in a position to speak to timing, or do you prefer
So
to table that?
where I'm at with timing, if you green light it tonight, because two different units have got different footing plans. So when you green light it tonight, I'll be on the phone first thing in the morning, pay the $1,800 for the footing plan. That goes to CLA. They've already done a site survey, so they can stick that foundation on the plan. I've already talked to planning and zoning about what requirements, so we're going in with a light study because we know there's no wetlands, no nothing. So I think things will move really quick as soon as this is like the hinge.
Okay.
You know, I can't move any further until you guys say go, you know?
So it's almost $1 million project.
It's-
Probably will end up being about that,
Well,
figuring that something's gonna go wrong or
876.
whatever. But, so where is this money gonna come from?
The bond.
Okay.
It was what we approved in the bond.
That much you did? Yeah.
Jim, what have we?
We left up to $2 million.
$2 million.
Yeah, up to 2 million for middle school improvements.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have the money in the bond available, and then we need to look at other projects that need to happen for the schools out of that 2 million that we would then
Okay.
prioritize, and
Thank you.
they'll figure it out. But this is why we asked for them to come back when they have firmer numbers, so we know
Yeah,
and we don't run up against something where.
and there has been points in this, Dave, that I've not been comfortable in. I have told you guys that I feel
Yeah.
comfortable moving forward where we're at. You know?
Further questions? All right, all in favor of approving the bid waiver request for $543,510 from Mobile Modular, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Steve.
it. I appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Steve.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, next item on the agenda is additional appropriation requests.
Oh, the fun stuff.
And first item on the agenda is discussion request at DPW for the additional appropriations to fund the truck. Jim?
So essentially, there's really only three if you want to count the bond, but I don't think we want to talk about bond for this truck.
Couldn't, it's not infrastructure.
But so additional appropriation, we take it out of this year, 25, 26. That would eat into your, the 450,000 that you're allowed to, additional appropriations without going to town meeting in an emergency situation. What we can do, I do have pretty good numbers for year end 25, 26, excuse me, 24.
24, 25?
24, 25. And based on my analysis, I think we're going to end up with at least, $2 million of fund balance, free and clear fund balance.
Additional?
Additional,
Above and beyond what we have now, so.
Not above and beyond
No,
what we have
we
now.
calculated for the last budget.
Total, as of June 30, 2025, I will have fund balance of $17,800,000. You're gonna have some that's assigned for encumbrances, subsequent year's budget of $1.1 million, and then the two-month reserve of $14,400. That leaves you $2 million free and clear above
Okay.
all our requirements that are
Okay,
self-imposed
which is
requirements.
less than it's historically been because we've been using it. So
Well, it's
But
right
more
about
than
what
you
we've done.
would- you
it's
would-
what we targeted, basically.
Right about what we
targeted $1
targeted.
million, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually $1
Yeah,
million more.
but we didn't really because we know what we do to get that extra million, but.
Because expenditures, came in about $1.3 million less than budgeted, so that's where we made up the extra $1 million.
And it's just
And-
that.
And Highway Department has, in their line items alone, their department has over $200,000 of surplus money at this point. I expect, over the next month and a half, stuff to come trickling in, but it shouldn't be that much. So I think you could, justify taking, say that new truck is gonna be $190,000. Transferred out of the DPW's 24-25 operating budget, put it into their SIP account for equipment for 2025, and then use that money to buy the new truck.
There's no prohibition between
Yeah,
switching
we're
between
okay
operating
doing
and
that,
SIP?
because we're crossing
Yeah.
fiscal, right?
Yeah,
25, 24, 25 is still open.
still?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
We
only
have
August.
stuff
Yeah.
trickling in for the next month and a half, 2
Okay.
months.
And there's no prohibition though between going from operating to SIP and vice versa?
No, you can transfer them like.
Anything to our heart's content? But you can go from SIP back to operating?
No.
No.
Okay, that's the one. Okay. Well, then they basically
Yeah,
earned that truck.
yeah.
For their frugal cost savings.
Yeah, good planning. All right, so, yeah, you're comfortable with the accounting, Jim? There's
Yes.
no issue, okay. That seems like the easiest path.
Yeah, if it's still open, we can do that, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Why didn't
Why
you say
not?
that sooner?
Sorry, I just want to get a verbal from everybody to make sure I heard. Jim, do you need a motion for that?
Yeah, but do we need to nail down the recycle
truck,
truck and
yeah.
vendor and price, right? We haven't done that yet.
Is that a hard number you gave?
No, actually, I know exactly what you're saying, Jim. Can I get a motion to approve the additional appropriation request paid for as Jim outlined for the,
Well, it's going to be, it's under additional appropriation, but I qualified it by saying other funding methods. So it's actually
Yes.
a transfer.
it'll be a
general
transfer.
fund To
Okay.
highway SIP account, highway equipment SIP account.
It was the $194,000, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
transfer to highway SIP. Okay, can I get a motion to approve a transfer to the highway SIP for the 100? Are you guys confident in that number? Or-
That was a hard, that was
That's
a
a
hard
hard
quote.
quote. I
was
mean,
a hard
yeah,
quote.
they got the vehicle, right?
It was there last
It
year.
was there.
Next question.
All right.
They holding it for you?
Call them tomorrow. So can I get a motion to approve the transfer to the highway SIP account from Jim, where's it coming
General
from?
fund?
General?
Well,
It's-
DPW operate general fund operating.
DPW up.
There'll be a bunch of different accounts, but.
Yeah, right, but generally speaking, it's DPW operational fund for $189,599.
That was 194.
194.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
am I in the wrong one?
No, that's, so next year's replacement, we had projected as 194.
Right.
750, I believe
This
the
is
quote.
18959.
Right, the current quote is that one. This is
What's-
if we
what's
had
the
to
current
go
quote,
after
Tom?
the
189.
Yeah, you're right, Tim, yeah.
$599. Okay, that's what
So
I
buy
went
it
to the
tomorrow.
quote.
Yeah, you went.
Yeah,
Right.
Yep.
to buy it tomorrow.
Task.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we do the 189,590, we're gonna do the 189,599. Okay. For a motion to approve the transfer to the highway SIP from DPW operation for 189,599.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Lynn, second Chris.
And just a question, so this will be in the 25-26 SIP budget?
No.
No, it's
No.
going to be in the 24-25 SIP budget from a transfer from the operating funds for
Okay.
DPW.
SIP budget
Okay,
rules.
so that'll be enough, so they can go ahead and buy this truck now.
Yeah, they go tomorrow.
Yeah, all it
Jim,
means is
just-
we get,
Go tonight.
Confirm you're good with that, Jim, that statement? Yes.
but that's $200,000 less that'll be kicked back into the general fund for next year's budget.
Right.
So-
And they're gonna get a class 7 truck.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And this truck won't be on there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
What are you gonna
Okay.
do with the sad old truck?
Send it to auction.
Yeah, it's scrapyard.
It's bad.
Okay, any further discussion about the motion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes.
Thank you.
Will you get anything for that old
Thank
truck?
you.
What was
Will you
that?
get anything for the equipment on that old truck or anything?
Some of it will be transferred over, we'll take anything that's of value off of it, and then the rest,
Put flowers in.
I would like,
Out front,
I would like
no.
to see if we can maybe set up like with an auction company. I was gonna talk to Jim and see if there's anybody we work with or something along those lines to see if we can move it.
Anything you can, you're gonna salvage and keep for.
Absolutely,
reuse.
yes.
I got a
Yeah.
2021 Toyota Coma actually for.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Tim, just to close the circle here, was the bid waiver ever finally voted on? Or were we waiting for the funding, to determine the funding?
I guess you're right.
We didn't
Oh.
vote the bid waiver, that's
We
true.
never did vote on a bid
So I
waiver.
think we had to go back and approve the bid waiver for Tasca for the 189.
Yeah, okay. Can I get a motion to approve a bid waiver request for Tasca for $189,599 for the new truck?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Mike, second Lynn. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All right.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passes. All right. Now I think we're done. Are we done now, Jim?
Yes.
Okay. We're good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Next item on the agenda is that we have modified is North Pier rehab for additional appropriation potential. Before I get a motion, I'm going to ask for Danielle to talk about that.
You want me to start?
Well, when I say I'm going to ask for Danielle to talk about that, that would be, you should
I
start
kind of tuned you out. Sorry.
Because we don't have a motion, we don't have.
Yeah. So you guys have an excellent brief memo in front of you, and then in addition to that, you have a letter from DACO, kind of outlining more of the process, but just to remind you guys, we put this out to bid, it was back in 2023, I think, estimated to be 900,000. We put it out to bid recently, it came back at well over 2 million. So then Jim worked super hard, and so did Chris, with DACO team to try and reconfigure everything, put it really quickly back out to bid, and it still came in at over $2 million, even with a bunch of changes made. But again, everybody worked really hard and really quickly and got back together again and was able to talk. We only had one bidder this time out of Brantford, but to talk with them about how to really pull out things and prioritize different things, and basically got it down to where you can see in front of you there's actually 3 options. I'm assuming you guys will want to go with the lowest option, which is we can still do 40% of the pier with the pilings that are underneath it, and we can do that for under the 900,000 we have, but basically what we're asking you all for is the contingency. So you can see in there, if the contingency that's noted in the scope assumes we're gonna get the 54,600 back from the Port Authority, and that they'll let us transfer it from, basically that grant was for engineering work, we didn't use that part, that we could transfer it over to construction, but it's not a given that they'll approve it. So I would say just assume worst case scenario, and that's what the number I put in your memo was, to add it higher, take that 54,000 out. So we already approved this tentatively approved this in the bond. You put 400,000 placeholder in there, but with the idea that I would come back and we would re-talk about it. So again, this is really hopefully just for a contingency. It is obviously really quite devastating and disappointing to a lot of us that we can't do everything that was intended for the North Pier. But one other bright side maybe is we have put in a bonding request with the state. They did do a bonding and did not include it a couple weeks ago, actually like right at the time of the blessing of the fleet, it would have been perfect, but they did not include it. But they're supposed to be doing another one again soon, possibly next month. So we do have a request in to the governor's office, and even Joe Courtney wrote a direct letter to the governor asking him to support this. So we'll see if we can get it. The contractor knows, and they can extend the work, but basically we have to get started, like maybe like next week, because we have a deadline for the federal money of the end of the calendar year.
Questions?
Yes.
$400,000 that we
Tentatively
earmarked
yeah.
tentatively is not in here, so you're asking for less, right?
Much less, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Do you have any clarity on whether or not, what the odds are of Port Authority releasing those funds?
I did call them, they've been so nice to work with. I feel like if they legally can, they will. It's just that it's, you know, different buckets, but like the only big difference that I could see in the 2 requirements is that you have to put up 20% like local match for construction, but we are putting money into it. So I feel like they could, I don't know why they wouldn't approve it. And again, they came to meet with us just a couple weeks ago. They were really supportive of all of our projects, encouraging us to apply again for other projects. So I think they will, but again, I think we should approve it, assuming they don't give it to us. And it'll just be less we use from the bond.
A decent contingency in there
Yeah,
as
do we ever
well.
get any back?
What?
Do we ever get a contingency back?
Well,
there's
no, that's
20
our own
That's your, yeah. So
Yeah, but it's
20%
our-
contingency.
yeah.
So you-
So we won't spend it, it's just there because we're afraid things could.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, do we ever not spend it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said, you said there's a chance that the low cost ends up only being 85,790, but if you don't spend the contingency,
Yeah, then we're under budget.
then you'd be under budget,
Yeah.
right?
By $400,000 if we had.
Well, no, under budget of the
Oh,
900,000.
the 900,000.
No, but we would
Yeah.
also be under budget for what we thought.
Yeah,
we
we
were
have
asking
to.
for the
Definitely.
bond.
Yeah.
I would qualify that contingency. One of the thoughts is, because the project is so scaled back due to the cost of
Next question.
how expensive it was,
Yeah,
if we're well through the project and we're not having any issues and that contingency is still available, we might consider doing, instead of doing 40% of the project, do 45% of the project and 50% of the project, keep on going. That's something we can evaluate we're deep into the project and know how.
We're also trying to work through some issues internally with the fishermen without going into too much, so that's very much an option, but we'd come back to you, like we wouldn't spend the contingency, not as contingency without coming back to you.
Question,
Yeah.
what does 50% or 40% or whatever percent of the dock repair actually do? Does it mean you can only walk on half of it? What does it
No,
mean?
so the top part, as I understand it, and Jim's been in all the meetings too, so jump in if I get anything wrong, the top part of the dock is fine, it's okay, not fine. The seawall that's underneath it, we did want to be able to fix, but then I think you saw in the footnote there's environmental issues, there's other things, so we decided beyond not having the money, we're not gonna touch that for now. But what this does is the pilings that are like underneath. So like if you go, that's a really high dock, so you kind of actually see them, but so it'll do 40% of those pilings. And so what we're trying to, the current plan is to work kind of like west to east, so like where it's out and gets more wave action, go inward to there. And so the rest that's a little bit more protected would have the older pilings under there still. And they will need to get replaced at some point, but they think, they have some years left in them.
What, the other pilings are failing now?
No, they're all poor, but those are, according, and this is something else we're gonna be working through a little bit more tomorrow, because one of the other ideas we wanted to explore was like, could you alternate? Like, do you have to do 40% of that exact one, or could you do, two, break, so you could get more of the dock, but with some of the poor ones in between. So that was an idea that literally came up today, so we are gonna explore that, but basically what they said is 40% is good, it's better than nothing, we don't have to give the money back to the federal government, and it's not like you have to undo any of this work, it'll be done, so it's taking a big bite out of what needs to happen at some point with the rest of it.
And how much were we asking the state for?
I didn't put in a request for the remainder, so we asked them for a little over $1 million, but I did put a note in there that again, like if they give us less, we could still make progress, but yeah, the whole thing.
Danielle, we came in at 2.1 million for the whole project, and now we're looking at a cost of about $1 million, and there's really not a big difference between the three options here, money-wise. The reduction of the scale of the project is in the seawall repair, is that correct?
The biggest reduction, I'd say, is taking out the seawall, where
Right.
a huge part of the cost was.
Yeah.
And then, the other option, you could only get to 50%. We never got beyond 50% of the dock. So the other cost is in not doing the other 50% of the dock, or 60 if you go to 40.
Right, and there's no concern with doing the work to the dock and doing the work to the seawall later?
No, it was actually, that was part of the recommendation, was like a huge part of the cost is the mobilization effort. And I guess for whatever reason, the seawall doesn't need that mobilization. It's like a totally separate trade, if you will.
Right.
So you don't actually save anything by doing them together.
They can work around the new pilot.
Yes, exactly, yeah. We made sure, that was a good question to ask that.
And you did mention the fishermen, do they have a preference on which option?
No, if there's internal debate and discussion actively happening across my phone as we speak. So we're gonna try and work through that tomorrow as quickly as we can.
The big boat, little boat?
And it's a fair question, because without getting too much, the eastern part of the dock has the larger, heavier scallop boats, so there's a good argument to make that they need it more, but it's more protected. So the engineers had originally preferred to go with the west end option because it gets more wave action, but it is a much smaller, lighter boat. So we're gonna figure that out hopefully tomorrow.
What's the status of the bond?
What do you mean?
Well, has it been processed?
Have we issued it yet?
Are we getting it?
Have we issued the bond? Have we?
No, I'm waiting to finish up the audit.
Okay. If you had to guess how soon?
Uh,
Rough estimate.
It should be at end of August, it should be, the auditor has everything, I believe, and so we're just waiting.
So how much money would we get in the first round, I guess it goes, get it
It's
all?
up to us.
We covered it 8.5.
Well, when it comes time to the bond, we're gonna evaluate where we are with all the projects we're contemplating, as far as where we are design, or, when construction would actually begin. And it's conceivable, we might just do, $5 million for the first year, because it's gonna take out a year or a year and a half out to get to get our projects
So
done.
between the selectmen's office and finance board, decide which of what the priority is?
That's already been
Yeah, we
done.
did that.
And
Yeah.
now it's just a matter of timing of when projects are gonna actually be ready for construction. That's
So
the
we
big-
set the priorities already, we voted on that. As
And
a
that was like
Board of
$8.5 million
Yeah.
worth, but I think.
But the question becomes, and what Jim is saying, if projects aren't shovel-ready and they're only ready for a couple $100,000 at that time, the first issuance may be less to see where the bond market goes.
Or more, and a month ago, I think, the first one, we were originally contemplating 7.5, 7.5. I think a month and a half ago, it was 8, and then 7, but when it actually comes time to bond, I think we'll ultimately drill down and
Yeah,
really figure it out more conclusively.
I know we had a list of the things that we were,
mhm.
I don't remember ever, prioritized, I don't remember that.
Yeah, we had a vote in,
A couple months ago.
yeah, it was-
Like
we had a vote, we had a motion and a vote to approve those ones with the stipulation they had to come back, much that Steve did today and Danielle's
Yeah, so,
doing.
yeah, we
with
gave them the $200,000
hard
discretion.
numbers, yeah, with hard numbers, so like Chris Greenlaw could start doing engineering work, which is gonna be under $200,000, but once you get through that and know the actual cost of the project, they had to come back so we could
Yeah.
look at, how does that, if you've got a dock that went from $1 million to $3 million, let's say,
Yeah.
Only 2.
I'm using other numbers.
So can I get a list of that, the priority?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be in the minutes,
It
too.
was in the minutes and I can make sure,
Dave,
I can make sure we
I'll
get it.
resend it to you tomorrow.
I'm sure I got it, I
Yeah.
just,
No, it's been a while.
yeah, okay, thanks.
Good.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I really think it's disheartening that we can't even do half of this project. I don't know,
Well, the original $900,000 was supposed to do 100% of it.
I know.
That was 4 years ago.
yeah, and then our 400,000 was supposed to cover the difference to get us to 100%, and now we're looking at 50%, so, or 40%.
or 40%.
Yeah, so I don't even know what to do with this. This is the first time I'm seeing this memo.
Memo looks like it was dated yesterday.
No, it's.
Well, but the whole
Price.
point of, it's the losing the
Oh,
grant.
the one from DACO, yeah. I mean,
From
this is
DACO
happening-
came in yesterday.
Again, like, it's completely disheartening. I mean, I was devastated when this all came back. I mean, it was something we've been working on for a really long time, but it is what it is, and we're trying to make the most of it, and obviously, getting some done is much better than getting
Yeah.
nothing done and having to give the 900 back, and we're up against, we've gotten 2 extensions from the SBA, and with how everything is.
So,
Daniel, was the 900 not accurate? I
It
mean,
was just-
why did it
it's
just
just-
because of the
It's
world?
the non-existent inflation.
I think that's part of it, also like some of the requirements that came in like weren't known, obviously, because we didn't get the grant, we didn't know where it was coming from. So like we have to do the Buy Better America, BABA.
Buy American, Build America.
What?
Yeah,
What is
and
that?
That
You had to buy
increased-
all American products, so you have to source everything from the United States. You can't buy you can't buy deep peers from Brazil or something like that at half the price.
Yeah, so that was a was that 20, 30? No, that was, it wasn't everything, but it added. So there was a lot of factors, and then obviously once they got in there and we're looking at it and seeing, a more deeper dive of
Yeah, I think
issues.
the original construction budget, $900,000 contemplated, didn't encompass all the work that, once we had the engineer come in and look at it closely, didn't
Okay, so
encompass
just-
all that work.
Some of that, yeah.
Well, the good news about this is you can do it piecemeal,
You can-
right? And so you can substantially strengthen that thing, and then we go and apply for another grant. Because most projects, you wouldn't be able to do that. You can't build half a building, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, that is a
but
silver
does the
lining.
cost of the second half go up?
oh yeah,
Over
it's
time.
not going down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I prefer
But
to
we
get
only have
as
so
much
much
as we
money.
can get done now, and we've already earmarked $400,000 for it.
Well, you want to earmark another $1 million?
No, I want to go up to the $400,000. If we can get 50% at $230,000, how much for 60%?
I would assume it would keep going up. I mean, I know a
That-
dolphin
yeah.
that we took out cost 56,000.
Well,
Well, scratching the dolphin and just putting the pilings in and
To be
whatnot.
fair to everybody, we're under a time pressure. All this work has to be done by December 31st. and we have to.
The work has to be done by then?
Yeah.
Pardon?
No,
Not
work
Not
has
just
to be
obligated,
done.
the work has to be done.
The work has to be done.
Well, we're coming up on the,
I was anticipating sending the notice to proceed tomorrow, just to be able to get this 40% done.
Right.
And that's another thing, because of all these rejiggering of the whole process, we've lost a lot more time. I think actually cutting it down to 40% might be all we have time.
time to do, yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna take a bit. Plus, we might get, we don't, so, you know, we might get some of that contingency back, and that $400,000 is still sitting out there, so there's still next spring or whatever.
I will
And
say,
if
you
that
can
were the
always, you
case.
can always go do more
Right.
afterwards with our own money. If, you know, come December, we get this 40% done that's being funded by this federal grant, and we say, you know what, we can free up $800,000 of bond money. We can say, stay put, keep on going.
yeah, that is the
Contractor.
plan.
Right.
We have to like bifurcate on whether like the
Yeah.
project, where like this is the federal grant project, we're done with that. And then, they could keep going after that under, extended, whatever, amended contract to keep going. I am still somewhat hopeful the state, I mean, we did make, I think, a decent, really decent argument about our last commercial fishing fleet in Connecticut, and, it shouldn't be just on Stonington taxpayers to do this, it should be a statewide support. I mean, they should be giving money towards this project. But to Chris's point, if they don't, I would love to see us come back and talk about, should we, extend the contract with these people to keep going and be able to add more pilings and just kind of further firm it up, especially while they're out there. But
How much are they kicking in?
Sneffla? Nothing, they have no money. They're trying to fix a hole in their roof, and their escrow account has very little.
Well, it's 190,000, I think, or so, which is small for a capital.
And I will,
fund.
say this for them too, you guys, I think some of you remember, but first it was, they had issues with their ice machine, we helped them get a loan, that's on them, they have the loan, they're paying it back, but that was a huge thing. Also the underground storage tank, which we did, fund substantially, but they were without fuel and ice for quite some time, and that's how they make their money. They kind of get a percentage charge that they charge people for pulling up their boats and outside boats that come in. And then with COVID and everything, and changes to their wholesaler, this is their third different change to their wholesaler. So they definitely had some pretty tough times, but now I would say very positively, like things are looking up. They have a new wholesaler in there. They seem to be doing great. They now have fuel and ice that are working. They're starting to build back up. So one of the things we've been talking about, and in all seriousness, we did want to see if somebody would be a liaison. Maybe it would make more sense post-November to see who's on the board, but to start talking to them about a more serious, their own kind of SIP sort of maintenance plan and what they will be, how they can save up more to be doing some of the maintenance work themselves. But we do own the dock.
Jim, let me just be clear about
We
this.
don't own the licenses.
In any of the three things, the funded amount is $954,600.
Yeah.
$954,600 in all three of them. That's the funded amount.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that includes the
Yeah,
40
yes.
money.
Assuming that,
What does that include?
we're assuming that 54,600 of the 954,000, that's state grant money that is for engineering. We still have to get approval to use that for construction, but we're counting it as though
And
we
the
did.
900 is the federal money.
So if we're allowed that, we would only need 85,000. But Danielle was asking for the 85 plus the 54,600 in case.
That's what I just wanted
Yeah.
to go back to, because it's not specifically lined out in here.
But yeah,
But
in the memo-
sorry, Danielle, why do we need to add so much more? I mean, there's a 20% contingency in there already, so, I mean, we wouldn't even have to appropriate anything right now, and you'd still, in theory, be okay.
No, the 20% contingency, that, we'd still need the 86 that's listed there. We're short that if you add in that contingency.
It's showing an 87, it's showing a credit.
It's, yeah, it's a credit.
It's a credit of 87,600.
It shouldn't, it's a,
Oh, it's a typo?
Well, it says the repairs are 866 and the funded amount's 954.
Right,
So it
that
looks
is a
like
credit.
that is a
yeah, but then the contingency, the 20%
Contract
contingency,
is for 866, plus 173 contingency.
because there's no
So
contingency
the total
in
project
the,
is 1,040,000.
So you're asking for
It's
85.
in the contract, you're saying? That,
Who came up with 20%
Yeah,
contingency?
the engineer.
The engineer said for this type of project, a marine project like this, you want to 20%. Generally, it's, you know.
That was the part I was missing was
5 or 10%.
who came up, yeah, 20% is a pretty high.
Yeah.
But that
I
85
don't, you
half,
know, we probably won't use it, we probably
Yeah.
won't need to touch the 85 to 140, whatever you.
But you're saying we have to approve it for you to go forward because it's specified somewhere, that 20%?
No, you don't have to do it for us to go forward, but we want
I
to.
just didn't want to enter into a contract agreement without you all
Having money in
supporting it.
place.
Like, I don't want somebody to come back to me or someone else
Oh,
to come back and say, hey, we're actually short
Yeah.
$140,000,
Yeah.
surprise. So I didn't mean to know, and then, you know, I think to what Chris was probably getting at, I mean, it should be part of the discussion. I mean, knowing you guys over the last 6 years, I just kind of feel like the cheapest option is the one that everyone's going to be more comfortable with, but you should look at it and discuss it if you want to go with a higher number.
well, if we don't think we can do it by 12/31,
Yeah,
that's an issue.
yeah.
You can always come back to us for more, but let's,
Well,
there's no point.
we don't need a contingency to get started, but we don't want to get started without knowing if we need a contingency, it'll be
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
So it sounds like there's gonna be, to me, to summarize this whole thing, so we can try and move on. It sounds like there's gonna be a continued dialogue, because I mean, this quote just came in yesterday from DACO. There's gonna be a continued dialogue, and what is most prudent, what you are saying is to approve the 85,790 for the 40% at this time, and then be receptive to looking at,
I would just be, I would approve the 140 or whatever I outlined in the memo, the 86 plus the 54.
Because you don't know
Because I
if
don't
they're
know
gonna
before it's
transfer the
already
money.
done.
Right.
So these are contemplating the happy case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to Jim's point, like if we're gonna go out to bond maybe say September, I wanna be sure we've taken that money into consideration.
And this is the project. We met with the contractors yesterday, we went through scope review, we talked about timing, getting this thing done. They're planning on ordering materials tomorrow in order to get this stuff on time, so.
Questions are ready to go.
so it's the 85,
Plus the
790 and 40 cents, plus the 54,600.
So 143.91 is what we're asking for.
I'm confused about what we're approving here, since we've already approved $400,000 in the
You guys didn't technically approve it. You
It's
said,
earmarked, it wasn't approved.
I said, I have no idea exactly how much they had, the bids hadn't come back again, so I said, I thought based on conversations, 400,000 could be a safe placeholder, and that I would come back to you. And that, again, anything, I don't know, over 200,000 or something.
200 was the threshold.
200 was,
Yeah, that anybody would come back, but obviously this is last, but since that one was a newly added one, it was discussed that I would come back and get your guys' buy-in on it.
Understood.
Are you sure that the grant is not imperiled by the fact that we're not doing what we applied for before?
Knock on wood, no, because we're just doing less, and we've been in touch with them that, because we asked them for money first, and they can't give us any more money, so we're like, we're gonna have to do less, so it should be fine.
But
We're going forward, and we have the money, so.
The money's in
we're not
hand?
a dead body, we're taking the money back. Sorry, that's on camera. It's fine, I mean it.
all right, well, this is simple enough.
all right, so can I get a motion to approve the allocation of $140,391 from the bond to the North Pier rehab project?
So moved. Second.
I got, who was first, Deb? I got a motion, Deb, second, Lynn. Further discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none, we haven't voted on it
Yeah,
yet.
I do have a question. So if we don't spend the contingency, right, we're not gonna draw it down in the bond either. I mean, it'll go to something else, but you'll give it back and it'll foot to that 400 again?
I think I would hope I or someone else, depending on the timeframe of all this, would come back and talk to you about maybe extending this one, or if there's, we keep applying for grants for the South Pier, just in full transparency. I think we talked about this, that pier is also a problem. So if we get a possibility for a grant, but that requires a local match, like somebody could come back and say, hey, can we use that for that? So I think,
I think the question is more for Jim. Jim, before we do anything with the contingency, make sure that you come back to the Board of Finance so that we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Does the borough pay
Okay.
anything?
You just wanna draw it down initially
Yeah,
for them to use it.
yeah.
it's ours.
Okay.
In fairness, it's the town's lease, or actually it's the water.
Have you ever asked?
200.
$50?
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, that unanimously passed.
I do have a question, again, about the bond. Now, we approved that, the money for the portable classrooms tonight. You're gonna start in on that right away. Where are they gonna get the, if we haven't gotten that money from
We
the
have fund
bond
balance
yet?
that will cover it.
Jim has mechanisms that can move and,
Okay,
Yeah, I'm already recording, I'm spending money out of the new bond fund. It's just, I'm just borrowing it from the general fund, out of
Okay.
our fund balance.
yeah. But then he'll reconstitute and make everything whole.
$17 million worth.
All right. Next item on the agenda is additional appropriation or a discussion about Alpha Ave. Danielle?
We're not too tired, can we just stop doing this? Okay,
You asked.
I know, okay, long story made short, obviously, I think everyone's pretty aware, right? Tell me if you're not, because I'm happy to go into background, but about the Alpha Ave Viaduct DOT project and some recent challenges we've had in terms of communication and project planning. And last Thursday, there was a town meeting, I think about 200 people attended, and I'd say a pretty strong sentiment that was shared by the community was concern over the project, and then specifically, I think understandably, there's a lack of trust in government, and I think it can apply to us locally, but right now it's being applied to DOT. And people are calling into question even just the need for any of this, never mind a conversation about repair versus rehabilitation versus, what options are out there. So what we did was,
Excuse me,
yeah,
they're debating whether the bridge should be repaired at all?
yes, there's people who really
Like,
feel
I
like
don't know, what-
they don't trust that DOT, and there were some engineers at the meeting who really called into question DOT's sort of visual inspection that they did, and some people feel like this is all being driven by Amtrak and the clearance issue. Some people feel like, maybe it's not as poor, and like, is it really in 5 or 10 years that we'd have to be redoing everything? And there's been a lot of different concerns raised and questions. So fast forward to the borough warden, myself, and Chris, our town engineer, met, and we had, I think, a really healthy discussion. And one of the outcomes that I had suggested was we should hire a third-party engineering firm to do our own independent review of the bridge. So WMC, as you guys know, they've presented to us a few times, did agree, which was, I think, fantastic, that they would take this on. They're also a DOT-approved engineer, so the idea is, with that in mind, they should take recommendations they make very seriously into consideration, because they're an approved engineer for bridges by DOT. So what they would do is they'd come in, they're gonna try and get us a timeline. This literally came in, like I said, at 3:45 today. The high level, that they would come in, do kind of the inspections, look at everything, put together their own set of recommendations for us. So then we could use that to meet with residents and to meet with DOT. And they haven't been able to get us an actual, line-by-line invoice or anything, but they said it'd be safe to assume 60,000.
So for 60 grand, they can come and double-check DOT's work, and how is DOT going to respond to that?
Well, again, since they're an approved DOT vendor, we feel
Yeah, but this is different, because we're saying...
they should, and again, they might reinforce exactly what DOT found, like, we truly don't know, or they might say, we disagree, or we think, yes, this girder of the substructure, I'm learning all sorts of fun things about bridges, is, not a 5, it's actually a 4, like, it might be worse, or maybe it's better. So we just think to be able to have a neutral third-party review, and we did talk with some of the residents, especially the ones who live around there, and they were very accepting. They're like, if this third-party engineer reconfirms what DOT said, like, we'll accept it, and we'll have a healthy conversation about how we move forward. But basically, until then, we don't trust this, and we want this project to be stopped. And we talked briefly, but like, I'm very concerned that this is emotional, and it's challenging, and it's hard for everybody, and I don't want us to be in a situation where the community spoke, and the community said no, and then in 5-10 years, there's no federal money to pay for this, and the town is on the hook for
It's a working
15%
bridge.
of $60 million.
Well, we're on the hook for more than the 1.2 we're on the hook for now, because
might
if
be.
it's a repair, we have to pay more.
We might be. They're hanging that over,
Well, that was part of the discussion originally.
yes.
which is
So-
one of the reasons that we
So
decided.
are we
to
gonna
do
open
bridge.
Pandora's box though by potentially,
Yeah.
so let's say we do this study,
Yeah.
and they come back and say, yeah, you know what, you could probably get another 3, 4, maybe even 5 years.
Yeah.
Is it worth the risk you just talked
It
about?
wouldn't
Like,
be. So I think like one of the things DOT originally presented was a repair option that would get us 50 years. Granted, this was 2 years in, it was high level.
yeah.
So I think that's really what we're talking about. Like, is there a repair option that will have less impact on the community and still get us 50 years instead of 75 or 100? We don't know that, and the biggest thing I think is the trust factor that the community has right now with DOT to be able to say, this is why we need to move in this direction. And it might go back to being a full rehab, but it's gonna be based on real data from a more trusted source.
Didn't we make this trust issue ourselves by deciding that it couldn't be one-way traffic? I mean,
So
it's
that
not,
again is a DOT talking point that we are taking major issue with. When we met with them, not to throw anybody in this room under the table, but some of us were all present, and including Chief Holdley, like we said, ideal option, of course, is two-way for traffic flow, for everything, and for public safety. Ideal, with the idea of the most pressing goal was minimizing the impact on the property owners around there. Everybody agreed, everything was good. We met with them in June. They gave us a presentation that we put on the town website that showed no impact on any of these properties except the Como always had a little impact. Everything was good, and then without any
that was
notice.
alternating traffic.
No, that was with, that was with the two-way.
Well, then what happened then?
Exactly. And that's
No,
why,
I'm
yeah,
asking,
no,
what
they
happened?
haven't genuinely, they said they were trying to move quickly to get things ready for this meeting, and they wanted to be transparent and reach out to the property owners quickly, but so they didn't inform the town or the borough, they didn't send any updated plans through, they just had their right-of-way teams go out and talk with the private property owners with these new plans that nobody had ever seen that showed this massive 12-foot overchange.
When do you think DOT is gonna decide what they're gonna do after this meeting? How long is it gonna take?
They have a 2-week comment period, so they at least have to wait the 2 weeks, and then we've requested a meeting, for us internally, and I actually wanted to say, like, we could make it a special Board of Finance meeting, or you guys could decide to send some reps to it, but I do think it'd be important that you guys are there to be part of this discussion, and then probably public safety, other people, whatever. So we'd have that discussion, and then Congressman Courtney's office has been really great, and they are already reaching out to Amtrak, the FRA, a bunch of different groups to set up a meeting in September to talk more about the Amtrak issue. So I'm
Talking
hoping
about the crossing now, the Act Break?
the crossing and stuff. So long way of saying, David, I'm hoping we have time.
Should we wait till we get that?
Yeah, why don't we wait and see if they do?
What?
Before you-
Yes. He's right. Why wouldn't we wait until they
Because
come
we
back with their
don't,
public
honestly,
comments?
to be really honest, like, we don't know. Like, I don't think any of us have faith either. Like, we don't know the best option. Is repair a good, viable option for the community in
Why
terms
don't we
of
let
cost
them
savings?
have that choice to make first? They just had this whole hearing, they heard a whole bunch of stuff. Why don't we give them the chance to come back before we blow 60 grand?
Because if they come back and say, sure, the community said they want repair, we'll do that because they're angry with us. But it's not actually the best option. We don't know that. We don't have the real, or the.
Well, the best option is always gonna be new.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you that for
Yeah.
60
Or if
cents.
they're pushing hard for that, we don't have a way to push back and say, no, we think this is really needed. And I say, quite honestly, there's a lot of residents who right now feel like they should do absolutely nothing and this whole project should be canceled, and that's what they're gonna continue to advocate for. Which is.
Well, they're gonna,
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
I-
we should spend $60,000 to satisfy,
To ensure that we do,
Nuts.
I think, we, like for zoning right now, we're talking about changing things so we can start doing third-party reviews, because there is this lack of trust, and there are issues, and these three fine gentlemen back could speak to it with traffic studies, and it comes up all the time. So to be able to say, look, there's a third-party neutral person reviewing this, and we have some assurance that this is really needed, and what the real issues are, and what needs to be addressed. There's just, I think some engineers, not just residents, like, general residents, like, poked holes at how DOT was evaluating the bridge. And there's, I think, a sentiment from some that, again, they're doing this because of Amtrak and because of the clearance rating.
So Danielle, beyond the
So what I'm hearing from you is that we're looking to get a second opinion from a different source.
Yes,
Okay.
from our bridge engineer who,
Do we have any understanding of the scope of investigation that was done by the DOT on the bridge to establish that it needed to
They
be
spoke
repaired
to
or
it,
replaced?
I mean, they haven't, and they've spoken to us
Yeah.
and they've spoken to our engineers, it was a lot of visual inspection, and
Which then they said they put into a computer and tried to simulate what these, yeah, exactly. But someone did ask in the audience whether it was ultrasound or whatever they were doing, and they did not do that.
Do we have any idea what the scope of this $60,000 inspection would be? Would it be beyond what DOT did? Would we be doing additional inspection?
that was the intention.
Okay.
I mean, you guys raise a fair point, it is a lot of money, but this is a huge project with potential impact for, years, never mind generations to come if we make the wrong decision. Like, I don't feel confident guiding the town in a direction without having better data.
So what would be the argument against waiting until we hear from them to see what they say? I mean, and then go forward with, hiring another person to go in. What's the detriment to that
To me,
waiting
the
time?
detriment is, if they do come back and say, fine, we'll do a repair option, this is what it looks like, is that truly what's in the best interest of the community? Like, I can't genuinely answer that, and I don't think any of us can. Like,
They
should we
have to
actually be pushing back and saying, no, we do need a full rehabilitation?
But it sounds
No,
like
it's really DOT, but they've so far been saying, they will be accepting and working with the community and taking feedback from the town officials on the direction to go.
It sounds like you're getting more pushback around the option of just, or consider, we should be more seriously considering the do-nothing option. It sounds like that's what you're
There's a
hearing.
big part of that, and I'm being very overly honest, and I'm probably gonna get yelled at for this, but the rehabilitation, the full, that was originally on the table, might be the option we should be doing for return on investment for the
Yeah.
community thing. But to tell 4 different property, nonprofit business, 2 private property owners, we're gonna substantially impact your homes and businesses and, community center. I think we owe it to everyone to be able to say, here's exactly why we do need the full rehabilitation versus, no, a repair is okay.
Did WMC give an idea of the timeline that they would need to do this?
They didn't, but Chris can find out, but they said they could do it fairly quickly. They know what we're up against.
So I guess I'm listening to what you're saying, Dave, and I'm thinking that why are we rushing to do this before we know if the DOT has even changed their opinion?
Yeah, maybe they're gonna come back with a whole new something.
And if WMC, listen, we've been in meetings for how long about this bridge? And it keeps getting delayed.
Yeah.
So.
Which gets more and more expensive.
Yeah,
And we're only
yeah.
on the hook for 1.2, that's gonna change.
Yeah.
So if you walk you through that a little bit, so DOT comes back and says, okay, we're gonna do we're gonna put some Band-Aids on it, or something, you know what I mean? I think they have to really,
Well, it was more than Band-Aids.
I know, I'm just trying to think, they can't,
I think they would have to come back and say, well, we'll do the ultrasounding, or we'll do this, or we'll do that, or have a good reason not to. So maybe in the in-between, you might suggest that to them so that, they have whatever constitutes scientific proof that what their visual inspection revealed is true. But to spend money now, before they have a chance to absorb what they heard, seems to me to just be pacifying 4 property owners at $60,000 that may not result in anything, or may not be necessary. Because we're talking about waiting a couple of weeks for them to come back and say whatever it is they're gonna say, right?
when is the
And
public?
they're not gonna act immediately.
Because,
Yeah.
right, but there's
I
other
guess those-
considerations here.
To turn it around to you, if they come back and say, okay, the community, spoke and we heard them, and fine, we'll throw up this repair option for you. I'm obviously
Well, they
being
did that
polite,
once
but-
already, and we chose the other
Yeah,
option.
because it was.
And partly because it was gonna cost us more money to repair it for a shorter period of time for less money, right? So the impact to taxpayers going forward for 4 property owners could be really significant depending on what happens here. So they're gonna probably come back and say exactly what they said to us the first time, right? But maybe if you intervene with a phone call, or whoever you would talk to up there, and just say, look, you got some suggestions from engineers out there, rather than our going and immediately hiring another engineer to double check you, why don't you come down and do that for some, considerably less expensive option? And then tell us what your best thing is. If you still say, the best thing to do is to replace the whole thing, tell us that, and then we can decide if we go get an engineer of our own then. But give them a shot to respond first, to me, anyway. I mean, I watched that meeting on, from when it was happening and whatnot, and I thought that guy, whatever his name was pretty respectful and responsive and all of that. Look, I don't, and how did they arrive at our doorstep anyway? Do you know?
That's part of why people don't trust us.
Well, do you know? I don't.
Yeah, it was completely out of the blue. They came to us and said.
Did they indicate why they were here? Was it out of the course of an ordinary bridge inspection, or, was Amtrak, can't run a train on time prodding them?
No, as I remember, they did a study, as I remember, because I was in a lot of these meetings with Danielle, and they did a study along Connecticut, basically, and this one popped up, and when they did a quick survey, it popped up that something's got to happen here.
Yeah, and it's an orphan bridge, right?
Yes,
So,
And it's graded as poor.
yeah.
yeah, and it's rated as poor. So, I mean, we have a lot of poor bridges, but the problem with that bridge is that's it, right?
Right.
So,
And part of, again, I don't have it right in front of me, but there was 3 or 4 ratings that went into that poor rating.
right.
There was 2 or 3
That were
that were
good.
all fair,
Yeah.
and then the clearance for Amtrak was poor,
Yeah.
and that brought the whole rating down.
Well, but one of the reasons that was a problem is because when they electrified it, they didn't have the clearance, and so you've got electrical arcing that's causing electrolysis on the underlayment of the bridge. That is a problem, right? That does weaken steel. So, I mean, also, if you figure it out and you have 4 feet, you can widen things and get another track in there if you wanted to, but I don't think that was the reason. I don't think DOT is running around trying to spend $48 million.
No,
Well,
Right.
it's 80% federal.
yeah.
Okay, but it's still part of DOT and it's still part of us. And I distinctly remember that the repair option was multiples of what the replacement option was, which I didn't understand at the time, didn't make any sense to me, but
Yeah. I think
That seemed
what's
to be
hard
the
is
case.
that when we picked the replacement, the full replacement, that was when we had all these positive meetings, and they were like, yes, we've heard you, we acknowledge, we're not gonna block off these streets anymore, we're not gonna close the Como sledding hill, we're not gonna impact these, other than the Como thrift store that's kind of under the bridge, nobody else is gonna be impacted, we should be good. There could be little tweaks, but we should be good. What they presented on Thursday was not that.
no,
Is
it's
there a
definitely
chance
not
that they still come back though and
We
say,
can
you know
fix it and
what?
go back to it.
Yeah, we've studied this again, we heard the feedback, we could go back to something that was more aligned with what we originally presented. I mean, and if that comes back, right, then we're not impacting those property owners to the extent that they last heard. I mean, is that still a possibility, or did they clearly say to you, or last Thursday, that option, the original option is totally off the table now?
No, they definitely didn't, to that point.
Have you spoken to them since the meeting?
Just some basic high-level emails, and we're trying to figure out when to meet.
Okay. And when are you meeting? Do you
We
know?
haven't gotten it yet.
Okay. Do you think it'll be in the next month?
Yeah.
Okay. Can
But
we-
they've got to wait the 2 weeks for the comment period to end.
I mean,
So
tomorrow is a week, so I mean, it's only one.
another week,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could we put wording in,
What my suggestion would be, hearing the discussion and hearing the concerns from the board, is that we don't take any action right now, but are ready to, if they come back with something that's unfavorable, act in a quick manner. That would be a special meeting just for this topic to look at those 60,000 and do that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you have to give them a chance.
And I think that would be
Because
important.
it's glacial speed anyway, what's
Does
another
anything
week?
make sense, do you understand, it's not just about the 4 property owners, it is a lack of trust and belief in this entire process, and it's then hard to help make an informed decision about what is truly the best path for the community for this huge project.
But if we jump right on, a second opinion or third or whatever, isn't that gonna start to create a more controversial
Yeah.
relationship with the state? And, I mean, is it just in terms
At the end of the day, they can do whatever the hell they want,
uh,
and then just hand us a bill.
Well, that's it, that's
Yeah.
true, and so that was part of the decision-making process that went into this, and the bill will be higher and maybe you understand why that is on a repair versus a replacement. It probably has to do with the amount of money they get from the feds,
Yes.
right?
It
So,
was like the return on investment, and they feel like for the state, their return on investment is much higher with the full rehabilitation versus the repair. So they were willing to keep the cost remainder, but if we don't go with that option, then we're on the hook for the full 15%.
right, what was the, I'm sure that the value of the repairs has gone up too, along with the value of the entire bridge, so let's say it's $30 million, right? So that's what we will be on the hook for. So, I mean, there's consequences to all of this that are more than just, you know, lay people saying, we don't need it, or we do need it, or we need this, or we need that. I just think,
Yeah, I like what you were saying about, Danielle, you reaching out, you know, and letting them know, we've had this discussion, you've talked to the Board of Finance, they want to give the state an opportunity to digest, to process this, to potentially reconsider that first option again. You know, let them know that there was some discussion about having another party come in, but we'd really, you know, like to see what they can do first. And I don't know, rather than just jumping to, we don't trust you, we're hiring another, and I just feel like it's going to result in that part of the relationship getting adversarial, and then that could really cost us money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money,
Well,
yeah.
if you do talk to them, I wouldn't bring that up about thinking about
Well, my,
getting another,
Yeah.
I
My
would leave
hope-
that out, just let them come back to us.
You know, this meeting's public.
At
just
that
to,
point,
I just want to be clear, like, they heard that at the meeting. I mean, they were,
Right.
you know, so to me, it was more of an olive branch, like, look, we're gonna try and help address this major issue that is causing so many issues within this project, that we are going to pay ourselves to get a third-party review, and, you know, if you're confident in all your engineering, you should feel good about that, we're backing you up. If it comes up with some, you know, differences of opinion, we can talk about it, and then it can help inform, like, the best possible outcome for this.
But I think we don't know what their outcome is. Okay, I think that they had a first presentation, they've said all along they want to be engaged to public. And I think, Mike, to your point, let's see what they come back with. And this thing has moved much slower than they were lining out in those meetings we were in.
which is why it's costing more.
It moved so slow, and then all of a sudden, it was like
Yeah.
a waterfall of
Probably because of the
poor
federal government.
communication and bad information.
Yeah, well, probably because they're worried about risking funding,
Yeah.
right? But we have at least a week to deal with this before we go and,
Appropriate.
and do anything and see what they say. But the other thing that, you know, the only way you can calculate what this decision is to know what it will actually cost taxpayers if we do a repair option, because I don't think an option of doing nothing is valid. I mean, we may not see that money again, it's the only way in and out of the borough, and if you get under that bridge and look at it, you don't have to be an engineer to look at something's going on there, right? So, you know, just,
So to summarize, I will say no, you'll say no for now, but we can, based on our first initial call, come back to you all and potentially say, we do feel like we need this, or we need some kind of expert guidance on this matter.
Yeah, we need more information from DOT.
Just the temperature of the board, if we all
Danielle,
agree to it.
if we're considering that we're in a no-win situation here, is there any like CYA aspect to this that we need to do our due diligence on the bridge repair if it does come to a situation where they need to do an eminent domain?
Yeah,
I don't know what CUI is.
cover your ass.
CYA.
Oh, CYA. CYA. I thought you said
Cover your ass.
CUIA. Yes.
Okay.
YMCA.
Cover our asses.
No,
collectively,
yeah.
yes.
In terms of,
That would be the state. The town doesn't have
yeah, we don't really have any say in it.
any real influence.
I have asked the town attorney, though, about the 15% and about how on the hook, we definitely, if there's any leeway we have to push back on that or to change things and to look at it, and so I'll let you know what they say, but
Okay.
we just asked today.
And what happens if one doesn't pay their bill for a bridge that's been done?
You won't see school funding, and you won't see any other
Yeah.
grant
Just
money or
curious.
anything else.
I don't agree, I mean, I'm just curious.
Well, that's what we're trying to get, from the town attorney, of official opinion, so we can say, look, these are the potential consequences we face, or here, maybe there is some other statute that might help us with orphan bridges, but it does seem like we're on the hook if they call us in.
Well, yeah, as I remember from the original numbers, it was like, I remember looking at him and going, wait a minute, we're getting a new bridge for 1.2 million, and we have to pay
Yeah.
6 or 7 for something that's good for 20 years,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was an easy decision, there was no discussion about eminent domain, we knew it was gonna be disruptive, but it's gonna be disruptive one way or another. I mean, that is your access into the borough.
At some point,
That's-
it has to get
It's either
done.
gonna be for whoever's living here now or their
Right.
kid,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't go away.
or it doesn't go away.
So I
Can't
think
ignore
we're,
it.
I think we're unanimously saying hold for now. See what DOT comes back with, and then if we need to, I'll be in touch with Danielle quite a bit about this, I'm sure. And then if we need to, we can schedule a special meeting.
Will you guys, you can discuss them on yourselves, but decide if you, when we do book this DOT meeting, if you want it to be like a full Board of Finance where everybody can observe and listen, or if you want to have like a liaison or two or up to three.
Let's see what they come back with.
Okay.
Then we can submit that around through an email to everybody, so everyone knows.
But why don't you prod them a little and see, I'm sure they have an ultrasound machine of their own, they're engineers and whatnot,
Yeah.
maybe they can do a little bit more
No, it's-
themselves,
Yeah.
right? To save us the money for doing it and get it done faster.
Yeah.
But I don't think, there may be no answer that satisfies all
Yeah.
four contingencies.
There is not going to
okay?
be an answer.
But the other consideration here is the remainder of taxpayers in town and what they could potentially be on the hook for, you know, in 5 years or 6 years or whatever, if we just, you know, want to do it, right? So,
So I think unless anyone has an objection, I think we're within that. Let's pause and wait, and then if we need to, we'll schedule a special meeting. Is that okay with everyone? Okay.
Sorry, are you gonna table it or vote it down, or what are you gonna?
We didn't have a motion, because I wasn't sure
I'm
what,
not gonna address it at all.
we're not gonna,
We're going to sweep it under the bridge.
we're not, there was no motion because it was a discussion point that was brought up
Yeah.
Okay.
and added, and as a result of the discussion, there was no motion to be made. So the sense of the board is, let's pause and wait for the comment period to end and DOT to come back. And at that point, if needed, we will have a special meeting and address this with a motion and do so.
because DOT could get their pencil out.
So, yeah, we can beat this
Yeah.
even further with the
They
horses.
can get rid of the
already.
eminent domain part of this and still do it.
Yeah, I think we're good with this.
They made any offers to people?
Let's stay on what we gotta do, because we still got more to do here, folks. Next item on the agenda is approval of previous minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Oh, wait, sorry, did we skip line item transfers?
There are none.
There are none.
Oh, no, sorry.
There's none on the agenda, so I didn't address it because there
Check it
are
out
none.
early?
I got a
Put it on there for
motion
none.
from Dave to approve the previous minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Deb. Additions, corrections.
Yeah, I do have one thing, Jim, I just wanted to add.
Hold on, and Bill he called me today and told me he had a correction. And I was just, on the second page, number 5, when I noted that the motion was tabled, Roger's request to upgrade the VoIP system, Bill just asked that I added why the motion was tabled, which was for further discussion with Chris Willis.
Yep.
So I'll add that. I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead. Yours was?
Yeah, so right, I think some of the earlier ones, I think you noted that there was some discussion, commentary, debate, but as you went a little further along, you know, you didn't seem to necessarily have that. I think it's important for item 11 that we be clear that there was quite a bit of discussion. So item 11 was bid waiver request from BOE Facilities Director for the removal and replacement of the underground fuel tank at 204 Mistuxet. You know, you just went on to say Mr. Faber, you know, requested the motion, et cetera. But I think you really should add in there a sentence or two. I was just actually typing something up, something along the lines of, you know, much discussion ensued regarding considerations and priorities pertaining to investments at Mistuxet Middle School. I mean, you know, we had a lot of back and forth on that
I know
one.
what you're saying, Mike. The further I get into the minutes, the less the more I carve out. So.
Yeah. But on that one in particular, that was not a slam dunk.
So maybe can you write something up and then
Yeah, you want me to just
email it
email it
over to Jim?
Okay, yeah. So I think, you know,
For documentation.
down the road that may become relevant, you know, that people understand that we weren't just approving these things, you know, without a lot of hemming and hawing.
Other changes? Corrections? None? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Huh?
I wasn't there.
You weren't there. I wasn't there either, but I'm still gonna vote
You can
to
still vote.
approve them.
I didn't read them.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did Linda
I abstained.
Lynn abstained. All right, next correspondence, we have none. I'll cover that, Mike, so that you're sure that I'm looking at every agenda.
Okay, okay.
Liaison reports, SIP liaison,
No report.
WPCA? Nothing? Nothing?
I resigned, is that news?
Board of Ed liaison? Nothing, it's summer. Mystic River Boathouse Park Implementation Committee?
I think everybody knows it's a lot of activity over there now. The house has been moved, the barn was torn down, and it's full speed ahead.
Jim, the grants manager reports his quarterly.
Right, that was.
Are we in a quarter?
No, no,
Okay.
we're at the first month of the quarter. so
Okay, well, that's why I wasn't sure.
Last month we got the report.
okay,
We'll get one at the end of September or probably October 1st meeting.
okay. Any other liaison reports? Hearing none, all right. Last item on the, well, the next item on the agenda, I should say, is executive session to go up to the EOC to go through that. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Lynn, second Dave. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, that's unanimous. What I will remind everyone is we cannot vote on anything or do anything in an executive session. We can just have discussion. And then we'll have to come back down here to finish the meeting.
We can't just do it here, the executive session?
No,
Going on a tour.
no,
We're going on a tour?
yeah.
Did you not read that? It's exciting part.
All right, so we're in executive session as of right now. So
Is
we
my
will-
stuff safe here?
Yeah.